Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Action films have come a long way, haven't they? I mean, on top of there being continuing storylines, great visuals, and interesting ideas, we've broken quite a few stereotypes as well. Today, women can be tough and developed, leading to more interesting characters, and men can be emotional and deep, also leading to more interesting characters. This is the direct opposite to the 80s and 90s, where they mainly just focused on one thing: being a male! Red meat punching boobs for my dick on an explosion with Sam Elliott's mustache! Male! We never talked about ideas or expressing our emotions. We were man this is, and we knew who the other man this is were! Schwarzenegger, man! Ford, man! Weaver! Yeah, okay, man! Van Damme, Van Man! Seagal! Wait, nah, he was never really cool, but Willis, man! We were so blood-hungry for not feeling or thinking anything that our hero for a while was an emotionless robot who did nothing but kill people. Michael Bay wishes he could be as fucked up as we were. But every once in a while, a smart film would sneak in under the radar disguised as a dumb dick flick. So, your friends would be like, Devil Boner! Hey! You wanna see a film about a man's emotional struggle to hold on to his humanity? What? RoboCop! Oh yeah, I love RoboCop! You wanna see if a person's identity is based on his environment or his inner soul? Huh? Total Recall! Oh yeah, 3 Bras, I love that shit! You wanna see Stallone, Mayo, Snipes, Mayo, Gun, Mayo, battle a politically correct Orwellian universe where they sing I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener! Absolutely none of that goes together. Demolition Man! Yep, Demolition Man wasn't a huge hit with critics or the box office, but it did leave a lasting impact with people. Many still talk about it because, well, they have no idea what to clarify it as. Is it a comedy? Is it an action film? Is it smart commentary? Is it dumb violence? Even today, people had trouble clarifying whether or not this is actually a good flick. Movies that break the mold yet somehow also stay bound to it intrigue me. So is it just mindless action or a clever satire of a future that could possibly still happen? Let's take a look and decide for ourselves. This is Demolition Man! Yep, I remember when 1996 looked like that. California was on fire, crime was everywhere, celebrities were fighting each other while dressed like jackasses. Actually, what am I talking about? This was LA in 1996.
A maniac hijacked a municipal bus with 30 passengers on it. And I got a real bad hunch where those passengers are and who that maniac is.
Stallone plays a rogue cop named John Spartan, going after Wesley Snipes playing a criminal named Simon Phoenix. Or, as Stallone likes to say, Phoenix! Snipes is a million flavors of fun in this movie too. Just imagine Ronald McDonald and Beetlejuice sponsored a human Happy Meal toy.
Where are the passengers?
Fuck you! Where are they, Phoenix? I swear, I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached.
I'll keep that in mind.
Believe it or not, this actually made moviegoers feel smart in the day. Like, they were clever enough to pick up on that incredibly subtle foreshadowing. It's kind of like showing Bambi's mom taking out life insurance. It's not as subtle as you think. Stallone somehow survives that, even though we never see him exit. Maybe there was a Coke machine in the building. When it's discovered that all the hostages he was supposed to save are dead.
Bodies everywhere. There must be 20 or 30. See that, Captain? I told him. He said he didn't care. Oh my God, how could you sacrifice all those innocent people?
This also somehow lands him a life sentence frozen in stasis. Now, how the fuck is that possible?
The court will now listen to the prosecution from an obviously lying psychopath.
Hey, I told him about the hostages. He said he didn't care.
A compelling case with a lot of hard evidence. Now, the defendant has put in years of loyal service, taking down hundreds of criminals. How do you plead?
Your Honor, it's very close.
Yeah, I think the world would be better off without the both of you. Freeze them.
Hey, that's God, he didn't pay his taxes!
I love you.
I was frozen to death.
He's put on ice until years later, where the future has practically obliterated crime. Presumably because of one night where all crime becomes legal. Hey, don't question it, it just works! This brings us to Lieutenant Huxley, played by Sandra Bullock, who is not in between Miss Congeniality and the Heat, so she's allowed to actually be funny here. Which is more than I can say for others.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the emergency line of the San Angeles Police Department.
Which movie would you like me to ruin for you?
But we find this future comes with a price. Anything bad for you is illegal. Smoking, high cholesterol, uneducational toys, eyebrows, even swearing gets you a fine.
Sanctimonious asshole.
Melina Huxley, you are fined 1/2 credit.
You shit.
Johnsman, you are fined. Johnsman, you are Johnsman.
That's nothing. To cut down on my swearing, I put electric shocks on my balls. Oh, I can't even say balls! Oh, Jesus! Oh!
It really works.
Even though Huxley likes this world fine, she does long for the days of action. As you can see, having surrounded herself in 20th century nostalgia. Loser.
What I wouldn't give for some action.
But action is around the corner when Phoenix is woken up for his parole hearing.
Mr. Simon Phoenix, one of our first and most illustrious members.
You will steal me an everlasting gobstopper.
But Phoenix escapes using the warden's eye to sneak out. He disguises himself as Dennis Rodman the Menace when the police finally track him down.
Demand maniac lie down with hands behind back.
Lie down with your hands behind your back.
Yeah, this is what every minority wishes the LAPD was like.
We're police officers. We're not trained to handle this kind of violence.
The police are scared shitless, not knowing how to handle him, and he ends up escaping. Of course, they figure out the only way to catch a maniac is to send in a maniac, so they unfreeze Stallone to go after him, seeing how his past work precedes him.
Are you sure this is real life?
How can you justify destroying a $7 million mini-mall to rescue a girl whose ransom was only $25,000?
Fuck you, lady!
I have no joke for that, it's just everybody deserves to hear that line. They set him up against a cheese grater and let him know the situation.
The year's 2032.
I had a wife. What happened to my wife?
Her light was extinguished in the big one of 2010.
Oh yes, we all remember the big disaster of that year.
We didn't thaw you out for a family reunion. Consider it fortunate the lieutenant even bothered to do a probe on your wife.
I think that's the wrong Stallone movie.
Cigarette, any cigarette.
Smoking is not good for you, and has been deemed that anything not good for you is bad, hence illegal. Alcohol, caffeine, contact sports, meat.
By God, it's a future if it was run by MSNBC. This is a cautionary tale from Tea Partiers, isn't it?
Bad language, chocolate, gasoline, uneducational toys, and anything spicy.
Oh yeah, if anything bad for you is illegal, then what's Rob Schneider doing in this movie?
Not many people get a second chance, John Spartan.
Stallone, of course, takes the job, puts on the uniform, and partakes in probably the strangest joke of the movie.
You're out of toilet paper.
Did you say toilet paper?
Oh, they used handfuls of wadded paper back in the 20s.
I'm happy that you're happy, but the place where you're supposed to have the toilet paper, you got this little shelf with 3 seashells on it.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
And in case you're wondering, no, they never explain how to use the 3 seashells. Again, like most of the film, I can't tell if this is brilliant or stupid. It's driven anyone who's seen the movie insane. There's memes, fan theories, even years later at the premiere of Gravity, one of the biggest groundbreakers of the past decade. What's Sandra Bullock being questioned about? It's absolutely nuts. And I plan to get to the bottom of it. Malcolm, time out!
You summoned.
You will discover the secret behind the 3 seashells by the end of the review. You will present your findings to me.
Does that include...
Yes.
You.
And the one who explains it best will not be placed in my spinal cord removal machine.
You have one of those?
No, I have 2. 1 for each of you. As soon as I bang my 3 seashells gong, your task will begin.
Come on, man, you can't be serious.
May the odds ever be in your favor. Away with you! Anywho, he rejoins an old friend who's so wise, sagey, and black that you're kind of wondering how the hell he never made it in a Stephen King film.
I remember when you were a snot-nosed rookie pilot.
They finally grounded me.
Shit, you're a damn good flyer.
They seem to be friends, yet he speaks to him in the most profane manner.
Well, if you had read my study, you would know that this is how insecure heterosexual males used to bond.
Fuck yeah!
I should really get rid of that!
Dr. Farnsworth tells him that the only guns that can be found anymore are at a museum, which is exactly where Phoenix ends up going to load up. On the way there, he listens to what are some typical catchy tunes.
The #1 request of the day, Armor Hot Dog.
Kids eat Armor Hot Dog.
Oh, wow.
Even kids with chicken pox love hot dog. Armor Hot Dog.
My God, a future where everyone is sensitive, can't take a joke, and is obsessed with the past? It's a future run by Tumblr.
Somebody put me back in the fridge.
What seems to be your boggle?
My boggle?
Christ, I woke up in Canada. Actually, I wonder if the next song on the radio was this.
Don't you put it in your mouth, don't you put it in your mouth, don't you stuff it in your face, don't stuff it in your face.
Stallone makes sure his weapon works. God, what an asshole. Thus, him and Phoenix get in a battle for who can make the most lame 90s action comebacks.
Bad aim, Blondie. Simon says bleed. I've been dreaming about killing you for 40 years. Well, keep dreaming.
Ah, yes, these are some pretty cliched comebacks. It looks like Snipes has one up his sleeve.
Time for something new and improved.
Let's see if Stallone can retort.
You're on TV.
My God, they're just unstoppable.
Charlie, you gotta go.
We got to say Simon says.
No, that must have hurt.
And it appears Snipes has won this round, but Stallone can always bring it back by simply shouting,
But the founder of this new world, dressed as a White Castle Pope, runs into the middle of it. However, Phoenix doesn't seem to be able to kill him. That's because the founder has programmed his mind to go after another target.
Isn't there a thought repeating in that barbaric brain of yours? The name Friendly. Mr. Edgar Friendly. Don't you have someone to kill?
But he didn't say, would you kindly?
Then go and do your job.
Penis!
Did he just say penis?
Penis!
You hear it too! You hear it too! Don't act like you don't!
Did he just decide to play a sporadic version of the penis game?
Penis!
Penis! Penis! Penis! Penis!
So after, quote, saving his life, the founder invites him to dinner.
Please, I insist. I would like you to accompany me to Taco Bell.
A Mexican restaurant so popular, it was rejected from Mexico twice. Look it up, it's totally true, there's hope for humanity! You might be wondering, why the hell was he invited to Taco Bell of all places? Well, in one of the most painful of product placements until Adam Sandler became a movie star, they give us this vague yet utterly forced excuse.
You do not realize that Taco Bell was the only restaurant to survive the franchise wars. So, now all restaurants are Taco Bell.
Okay, screw the seashells, which I'm sure you'll need to bring a lot of going to Taco Bell, but what on earth were the franchise wars? Was it like the Burger King and his Spartan cows against Colonel Sanders and his mutated chickens?
This movie needs a prequel!
But hey, just when you think Stallone can plug anything else in this movie.
It's the Schwarzenegger Presidential Library. Wasn't he an actor when you...
Stop, he was president?
Yes. Even though he was not born in this country, his popularity at the time caused the 61st Amendment, which states that...
I don't want to know.
That's right, he had it made! And then he had his made, and everything went downhill from there. So at this Mexican restaurant, where as stated before, no spicy or salty food can be served, so again, like a typical Taco Bell, our hero finds once again he has a hard time fitting in.
What would you say if I called you a brutish fossil, symbolic of a decayed era, gratefully forgotten?
Are you kidding? It's Stallone, he hears that like twice a week.
Call for backup, I'll be across the street.
But he notices a ton of dirty, hungry, drugged up people approaching the Taco Bell. Again, some things never change.
Please, don't!
What the hell?
But he finds out this group lives underground because they don't agree with living in such a fascist world.
The last remaining criminal element in the city. But plans are in progress to purge this peril from our day.
You are even better live than on Laserdisc.
They could come back.
Another roundhouse.
Hussy, look, this isn't the Wild West, okay? Hurting people's not a good thing. Well, sometimes it is, but not when it's a bunch of people looking for something to eat.
Again, no joke, just good line. So we see Phoenix goes underground to kill the leader of the rebels, just so he can come right back up to say he needs help.
I'll need about 5 or 6 more
special men.
The founder agrees to thaw out some of his criminal buddies to help, while Huxley straight out asks our hero for quite a proposal.
I was wondering if you would like to have sex.
Now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Time to let out the sexual cry of the Stallone.
Penis!
Penis indeed. But it's a little different in the future, as the world partakes in what I can only describe as virtual boy sex. That came out much worse than I intended. As did that. But you'll see what I'm talking about. Wow, sexual interaction is done virtually without actually touching the person you're dating? This really is a future run by Tumblr.
Not even mouth transfer is condoned. What are you doing?
Breaking the law.
You are a savage creature, John Spartan, and I wish you to leave my domicile now.
She throws him out, but it's okay. As part of being a man movie, we of course get some completely pointless nudity.
Hi, Martin. You know, I was thinking. Oh my God, I'm sorry, wrong number.
Who was that woman? Why was it worth 2 seconds showing off her tits and ass? Man!
Penis!
Stallone uses his alone time to knit, because after being turned down by a hot woman and seeing another one naked, yeah, that's what I would do. But he figures out his new talent is all part of his reprogramming.
When I thawed out, the first thing I wanted to do was knit.
For each inmate, the computer draws up a skill or trade which best suits their genetic disposition.
I'm a seamstress? Oh, that's just great.
God, I can just see all the Stallone memes now. I was knitting before it was hipster.
Can you give me Phoenix's rehab program now?
Sure.
But he discovers that Phoenix has been implanted with all sorts of hacking and martial arts info that would make him an unstoppable weapon. So I guess the real question is, why aren't the rest of the cops given these implants?
This isn't a proper rehabilitation program.
No kidding.
This causes him to go to the underground set of Super Mario Brothers, where he finally gets what he thinks is real food.
This is fantastic.
Just don't ask where the meat comes from.
Esta carne es de rata.
Rat. This is a rat burger.
Hey, after having Taco Bell, rat would taste like filet mignon, okay? He comes across the leader of the rebels, played by Dennis Leary, who explains quite clearly that if the surface world is Tumblr, then the underworld is 4chan.
I guess you weren't part of the Cocteau plan.
Greed, deception, abuse of power, that's no plan.
Nah, that's just LA again. Nothing much has really changed.
I'm into freedom of speech and freedom of choice. I want high cholesterol. I want to eat bacon and butter and buckets of cheese, okay? I've seen the future. You know what it is? It's a 47-year-old virgin sitting around in his beige pajamas, drinking a banana broccoli shake, singing, I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Okay, are you sure this isn't a metaphor for the internet? But Phoenix and his new gang spot our heroes, leaving him wide open to be shot in the— oh, for God's sakes, they were right there! How could you possibly miss them? It's like— how is that possible? You better shout Phoenix to make me feel better. It actually does. They partake in Dukes of Biohazard as Bullock drives the car frantically while screaming at the top of her lungs. Before it became annoying.
No free rides!
Seriously? Did you just set your gun to hit everything but Stallone? Mr. Magoo could aim better than you! He escapes, leaving Stallone to crash, but he's saved in probably the strangest way imaginable.
Oh! It's secure phone, and it saved your life.
Okay, that's not a safety device, that's a power Mario would have. Turn any surface into foam. Oh, and I'm so glad that gunshots, wall slamming, and doors flying don't set it off. I think it's on a little bit of a delay.
I'll have carte blanche to create the perfect society. My society.
Phoenix finds he still can't kill the founder, but like a moron, he forgot to program that into the other criminals. So he hands the gun over to a thug played by Jesse Ventura. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how he got his other political job too. He plans to thaw out all the criminals to cause chaos, which means it's up to our two main heroes to save the day. Our one main hero to save the day. Yep, another trope of the Mayan movie is that the final battle always has to be Mayano y Miano. Yeah, even though she's proven she's a pretty badass fighter and even saved Stallone a couple of times.
My testicles must show I can handle this on my own.
So yeah, let's play a game called What Huxley Could Have Done While Stallone Gets His Ass Kicked.
Wish you the best of luck, sir. Look in my eyes, John. I'll see you in hell tonight.
Okay, she could not shout Phoenix. That's the one thing only Stallone could do. And even that's kind of debatable. Phoenix! I'm gonna make that my ringtone. In a kind of ripoff of Terminator 2, Phoenix is covered in frozen liquid, resulting in Stallone, what else? Knocking his block off. I can just see the wheels turning in Stallone's head thinking of every witty line.
Let's keep ahead. Don't lose your head. Henry David Thoreau once said, it's better to have your head in the clouds and know where you are than to breathe the fuck it. Heads
up! Thus causing the big exploding science ball to go off, resulting in, of course, the place being blown sky high. Or at least a small corner of it. Really? You open the movie with this? And then you end it with this? That took up a corner of the screen. You still have all that building to blow up. It's like a domino set you never get to knock over. Next to a bomb!
What will we do? How will we live?
When they try to figure out what'll happen to the future of Portlandia, Stallone gives some advice.
I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna do. Why don't you get a little dirty? You elect clean. And somewhere in the middle, I don't know, you'll figure it out.
Wow. Not since his thrilling speech to the Russians in Rocky IV has his diplomacy ever been so eloquent.
Somewhere in the middle, I don't know, you'll figure it out.
Thank you for rendering me unconscious.
Huxley, I did it for your own good.
We're supposed to be a team.
Huxley is rightfully pissed that she was left out of the action, but this ought to shut her up. Ah, my white knighting hero who I never asked to be my white knight. This really is Tumblr. So that was Demolition Man. Is it a comedy? Is it an action film? Is it smart? Is it dumb? And most importantly, does it hold up? Honestly, with no joking whatsoever, this is actually far better now than it has ever been in the past. When it came out, the action cliches were pretty standard, so at the time it wasn't a big hit. But now, in 2015, these cliches have taken on an identity of their own. Silly, but kind of admirable. This works especially now because the future they created in this movie is almost kind of true of the world we created now. Our society, thanks to social media, is trying to be more about the group. Forums, fan pages, causes to get behind. Hell, if there's a hater online, everyone wants to join together to prove how wrong he is. Compare that to the 80s and 90s where everything was about the individual. Wall Street, make money for your own, action films, mano y mano, emotions are for the weak. But the great thing about it is neither side is the villain in this. They're just products of their environment. The future has less choice, but they've also obliterated murder for 16 years. The past is anarchy and violence, but they also have more rights and choices. They both have their pros and cons. I know I joke about the future being a commentary of online culture, but without even realizing it, that's kind of what they did. The internet is filled with people who are overly sensitive and can't take a joke, but it's also filled with attention-hungry idiots who only want to anger and antagonize those people. But again, no one side is the bad guy. They both have villains. They're the extremists who want everything one way. Whether it's absolute perfection or absolute anarchy, both result in taking away diversity and free will. While the heroes are the ones willing to make a compromise. Stallone has trouble fitting in, but he doesn't say his world was completely right. Eventually both sides realize that the two have to find some middle ground in order to keep balance. It's a commentary that wouldn't work as well back then, but works much better now comparing our new world to the world of the past. Our current attitude to the attitude of the 90s. Now don't get me wrong, some things don't work especially well, like the action's not really that strong, and some of the cliches might be a little too stupid for their own good. But the writing, the ideas, the commentary, and yes, even the acting, which is honestly pitch perfect from every performer, makes it stand out. I know it sounds crazy, but Demolition Man has actually gotten a lot better with time. Part of that being because they intentionally date the hero and villain by putting them in the future. Dating it surprisingly made it timeless. It just knew which areas to update and which areas to leave alone. I'm totally serious when I say this dumb, cliched, overblown action film is actually one of the smarter summer movies to come out of the past few decades. But that still doesn't answer my 3 seashells question. Malcolm, Tamara, begin! Tamara, what do you have for me?
Well, I've come to the conclusion that the first shell can be used as a scooping mechanism. You can scoop out the
poop.
Yeah, and then you can use the second shell and put them together as a grabbing device so that you can actually grab out the
poop.
And then you can use the third to kind of just scoop out any residuals.
Intriguing. Malcolm, what do you have to say?
Well, I had a theory that these seashells are put into a device that shreds them down to their most basic particles.
Basic particles?
Those particles are then turned into wadded paper, for which is then used for down there.
So your suggestion for replacing toilet paper is just to make toilet paper?
Uh-huh.
That is brilliant! The world will call you a hero and I will marry you and munch off your money! Guards, take her away!
Wait, we have guards?
We've got a weapon!
Oh my god, wait!
All right, up against the wall, head behind your back! Come on now, resist arrest here!
You have done well, my gentle genius. Your future has just begun. Come with me!
Oh.